Alrighty everyone, so now it is February 27th of 2023. The marketing campaign for The Mandalorian Season 3 is now coming to an end and to a very big close, as the first episode is getting ready to debut on Disney+. That's going to be a very big deal by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, on to the big subject. We know that Gina Carano and her involvement in Mando Season 4 is moving along very smoothly by the Disney higher-ups for the most part, except for the 30% that are more loyal to Kathleen Kennedy that really do not want that to happen and are fighting against it. The ones that outweigh all of them are the rest, that actually do support George Lucas's treatment of Star Wars, Jon and Dave's direction, and what Bob Iger is trying to achieve. Now that brings us to Gina Carano's overall involvement in Mando 4. As of now, it all rests on her decision on exactly what she wants to do. She has to make a decision by this May, give or take, to really give the go-ahead on whether or not she wants to come back. And basically, Bob Iger is welcoming her with open arms. So, diving into exactly what has been going on behind the scenes over at, of course, Lucasfilm, and what has been going over at Disney has a lot to do with really finding a way to bring Star Wars fans back into, of course, the theater seats, and of course, to the streaming service known as Disney+. Now, that brings us to actor Mark Hamill, who recently was able to talk more about his thoughts and his overall, viewpoints on the Gina Carano firing and exactly his overall, experience with Gina Carano and more. So, with many projects being worked on simultaneously by Jon and Dave, many actors have been coming forward and revealing new truths about Lucasfilm the past couple of months. Mark Hamill recently was questioned about his thoughts on Gina Carano's firing, and went on to respond while also revealing some shocking details that fans may have never known about. Hamill stated the following to the fans: "Listen, I may not agree with Gina's views on many things, but I got along with her very well on set as a person, and I thought it was very wrong of Lucasfilm letting her go the way that they did. I will be open about that. My heart sank when I heard the news that this is how she received the information about her getting laid off. I couldn't believe it myself. I was a bit disgusted, and when we were working on Season 2 of Mando, I would overhear these conversations about her with other cast members, about people trying to find ways to reduce her screen time or even to prevent her from returning in Season 3. So let me just, pause here for a second before I get to the next big bit. So, the thing about Mark Hamill is that he has been becoming a little bit more, I guess you could say, direct with the fans, being a little bit more open and revealing to the fandom about his experiences with Lucasfilm, his thoughts on the company, and it is pretty interesting to hear Mark Hamill saying that he was disgusted himself over how Gina Carano's firing was handled by, of course, not just Lucasfilm as a company, but by Kathleen Kennedy as a person, since, by the way, she was the one who really made the call. She's the one that really made the call to get rid of Carano off of Season 3 and to get her off of Rangers of the New Republic. Now, Rangers, by the way, was going to be Gina Carano's actual Star Wars show. She was going to be like the main lead, but it was going to involve characters like Luke, Han, and Leia and the like, and that was going to be done with the deepfake technology and such. Now, with that being, of course, put out there, we know that Mark Hamill has been, very controversial on social media. He is very bold and really likes to share whatever comes and pops into his mind, right? So, there are some fans that really do agree and disagree with him, but here at the very minimum, Mark Hamill is being, I think, very honest. The fact that he says that he was very disgusted the way that Lucasfilm handled it, and that he may not agree with Gina Carano's views on things, he still got along with her as a person on set. And that just goes to show you that, there are a lot of people that do like Gina, even though they disagree with her views on certain things. And those are the type of people that I think, you know, are more trustworthy than the ones that just mark Gina Carano, you know, as this or that, or just name call her, you know, mindlessly. So I think that, you know, when you look at stuff like this, the fact that there were a lot of people that were trying to find petty reasons to get her fired is another thing to be aware of. Now, Mark Hamill goes on to actually, you know, reveal things further by saying, I even heard that many at Lucasfilm heavily were envious over the fact that Gina was about to get her very own Star Wars show. I believe it was Rangers, and I was going to be a part of that too. I guess I'm allowed to say that now. But yeah, it was going to be a big deal, and many at Lucasfilm just could not stand that she was getting a series of her own. So in short, I never agree with Gina Carano's tweets, but she definitely did not deserve the treatment that she got from Lucasfilm, and deserved all the care in the world at the time. I never saw anything like this in show business before in all my 40 plus years. So, that too, very revealing. The fact that Mark Hamill openly made it clear that he has never seen anything like this happen in all of his 40 plus years in show business. And that just goes to show you how much of a failure this was on Lucasfilm's end, and how it really kind of caused a bad image for Disney. And I think at the end of the day, this is exactly why Bob Iger wants Gina back. You know, as far as Bob Iger goes, I don't think he wants her back, genuinely speaking. I think it's more of an ulterior motive. He's got something going on that he wants to achieve by doing this. Whereas John and Dave, they just genuinely want her back. You know, they went as far to name the character after Gina Carano's last name, you know, Carano, Gina, you know, Carano, Cara Dune. They did name it after her. They actually revealed that like 2 years ago. But when you look at stuff like this, you know, about how Mark Hamill putting it out there that there were a lot of Lucasfilm employees that were envious, very jealous, and having a lot of problems over the fact that Gina was getting a Star Wars show of her own, just goes to show you that they did anything that they had to do to cause trouble on set or behind the scenes at that. So once again, like I say, there's always some kind of trouble that follows suit when it comes to Mark. You know, Mark Hamill, you know, likes to put it out there that there were a lot of issues happening with Lucasfilm, and I would not be too surprised if Disney and Lucasfilm tell him to revert everything that he just said, kind of like what happened when he put out those statements about The Last Jedi. You guys may recall, he actually really kind of just expressed very negative opinions about that film, and Disney stepped forward and said, you gotta remove all your statements right now, you gotta replace that. So, this day and age, you know, he's been more open, he's been more honest with the fans, really revealing more truths about everything of what happened and what went down. So, like I say, guys, I think that Gina's still got, you know, a good chance at Mando 4. It's still in the works between Disney higher-ups and Bob Iger for Mando Season 4. John and Dave have already, you know, created preliminary concept art for the character. But anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you guys have to say about all of this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.